A Muslim woman from Detroit is suing a judge who presided over her small claims case, claiming that the judge violated her freedom of religion. Gina Muhammad says the judge dismissed her case after she refused to remove her Muslim headdress, a veil that covered most of her face. But the judge's attorney insists his decision was not based on religion, explaining he needed Muhammad to take off the veil so he could fully observe her face during testimony. Joining me now is Gina Muhammad and her attorney, Nabi Ayad. Thank you very much for being with us.
Good afternoon.
Gina, let me ask you a question first. When you went into the judge and he said, take off your veil, and you said no, did they offer you any other options?
No, but I asked.
You asked? And you asked what, for a change of venue or for a female judge?
Yes, I asked for both of those.
And in this case, I believe that the district did not have any female judges. Is that correct?
Yeah, I found that out later.
Now, is there, I know that you've got a driver's license, you have your veil off for that. You've taken your veil off before. What were the circumstances that you were willing to take the veil off then?
Well, here in Michigan, we have a law where you make an appointment and you go to the Secretary of State and they cover the area for you, and you take your picture by a female.
But I assume that if you're ever pulled over and you have to show that license, you could just as likely be pulled over by a male police officer as a female. Would you show it to him?
Well, we could ask for a female officer.
But I mean, if you're stopped for speeding and it's a male police officer, you're saying that you would say, I'm not going to show it to you. You've got to bring a female officer over here, and I'll show it to her only.
Yes, that's correct. But just for the record, I had my license since I was 15 years old, and I never got a speeding ticket.
Okay. Now, Nabi, let me ask you about this. Nabi Ayad is Gina's attorney. You're filing this based on freedom of religion, that her religious freedoms have been violated here. But there's of course, the law, and we have to abide by it. I couldn't go into court and ask for the same thing, could I?
Absolutely, there is a law, but inherent in that law is a very fundamental right that every citizen enjoys in this country, and that is the freedom of religion, our First Amendment right, which our Constitution, our justice system, and our legislature harbors very zealously and protects. Any encroachments on that have always been met with strict litigation against any kind of encroachment on that First Amendment right.
All right. The suit was filed in 2007. The hearing was yesterday, and we are awaiting the ruling. Nabi Ayad, Gina Muhammad's attorney. And Gina Muhammad, thank you very much for being with us. It's an interesting case. The question is it lawful? What is legal? Courts make accommodations for people with disabilities, so should they do the same for people's religious beliefs? Judge Andrew Napolitano, Fox senior judicial analyst, joins us right now. What do you think?
I think that her lawsuit in federal court against the male state judge who ordered her to remove her veil from her face, and when she refused to do so, dismissed the complaint that she had filed, will fail in federal court as well. You cannot go into court in America and demand the gender of your judge. You can't say, I will only show my face to a female judge, not to a male judge. That's not part of our culture. And a judge, and I can tell you this, Edie, wants to be able to see the facial expression.
Why is it so important?
It gives you an indication of their truthfulness, their believability. It also gives you an indication of who they are. Now, everyone respects her right to appear on television, as we just saw her, but we don't know who she is. All we saw were two eyes coming through those slits in her garb, and we respect that garb. But in a court of law, some religious beliefs have to defer to the obligation of the court to do its job.
I was going to ask, what is more important, the rule of law or the freedom of religion? And what you're saying is, this has to be deferred to that.
You know, the Supreme Court has looked at these things, not in this context, but in the context of religions that wanted to use hallucinogenic drugs as sacraments. And the court said, being a member of a religious group, no matter what its duties and obligations are, does not relieve you of the obligation of obeying the general law. So you can't use peyote as a sacrament, and if you come in a courtroom and the judge says, I need to see your face, you can't say, I'll only show my face to another judge of a different gender, not to you.
Yeah. Well, as you said, we're a nation based on, on general law, and we don't have specific laws for specific people of specific creeds or anything else.
You know, you and I were talking in the break. I had people come in my courtroom all the time who wanted to wear hats and sunglasses. And I would say, you got to take the hat off, and you got to take the sunglasses off. I need to see your eyes.
Yeah, they didn't want to see the red eyes. That's
well,
why.
Perhaps that was it. But seeing the eyes is a great indicator of truthfulness.
All right. Judge Andrew Napolitano, senior judicial analyst here at Fox News Channel, and the author of that book, we put it up there, A Nation of Sheep. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Go and get it.
There you go.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
You can also hear The Judge. It's one of the best shows on radio. Brian and The Judge, he's way better than Brian. Weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern on Fox News Radio.
You don't
now,
pay for that.